Okay, so first from the today's lesson, I'm going to discuss an overview about the e-commerce, right? So within this lesson, I'm thinking to discuss these content. Some definitions I will give you and discuss the different or the relationship between the e-commerce and the e-business, and the related terminology, some features, as well as the difference between the e-commerce and the traditional commerce, right? Okay, so again, I'm remembering you that you can raise any question as well. I'm giving, you can give the opinions, comments regarding the topics I'm discussing, and your view about these topics. ඔයාලට හිතන දේවල්, ඔයාලගේ opinions ඕන දෙයක් මේ platform එකේදී openly කියන්න පුළුවන්, right? This is of course a lesson, but this is kind of an discussion, right? Okay, so this is for the formality, right? So the e-commerce, you know what is commerce. Okay, there are IT people, IT students who has coming from the commerce stream in the A levels. So in the commerce or the business studies, I'm not considering discussing about the e-commerce. This is about the commerce, right? වාණිජය ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. And so in commerce, so the meaning of the commerce is the kind of they are the activities of buying and selling product or services, right? Product hari services hari මිලට ගැනීම හෝ විකිණීම කියන process එක තමයි commerce කියලා කියන්නේ, right? So if we are doing this the activities of buying or selling of product or services, right? Not only the product but also the services through the means of IT or the computer, or we can say the technologies, right? Internet technologies especially. So then that time we call this process as e-commerce, right? Actually there is another term that we are discussing or the come into the scenario, that is e-business. Actually e-businesses also, what we are doing is buying and selling. Not only the buying and selling, there are some other the functionalities included in the e-business. Somehow we can say doing the businesses over the electronic networks, that is called as e-commerce, right? Okay, I mean especially the internet or the online, right? So that is a basic definition. Actually the e-commerce is a general concept covering the any form of business transaction or information exchange executed using information and communication technologies, right? And e-commerce take place between companies, and that means between the companies and their customers also, or else the between companies as well as the public administration like the governments. And electronic commerce includes electronic trading of goods, services, and as well the electronic materials also, right? So e-commerce includes, right? So in that case, there are three categories coming into the scenarios within the e-commerce. So it includes commercial transactions on the internet, but their scope is much wider than this. So they can be classified, or the e-commerce can be classified by the application type. So those application types or the main streams of the e-commerce can be identified in three areas. They are electronic market, electronic data interchange, or we call it as abbreviatively it is EDI, and the other one is internet commerce, right? So keep remember, this is one kind of categorization of e-commerce, right? So there are other kind of categorizations in e-commerce. So it is like this. So for an example, here for today's lesson, in this today's lesson, there are nine students are participating, including except me. So there are 10 people in attending in this session, right? So I can categorize these all 10 people considering the gender, right? Considering the gender, that means I can divide these 10 people into the male and female, right? So that is one categorization, right? Again, I can categorize this the same 10 people based on the role I am playing here, that we are playing here. That means I am the teacher and you are the students, right? So the categorization based on the role, right? But the thing is, the categorization happens or the done on the same 10 people. එකම සෙට් කීප දෙනා එකම ද්‍රව්‍ය ටික අපි කැටගරයිස් කරනවා එක එක මාතෘකා එක එක කැටගරයිසේෂන් නැත්නම් ඒ ෆීල්ඩ් එක යටතේ, right? So this is the example I can give you. So the thing is, there are different types of e-commerce transactions happens everywhere. So we can categorize the same e-commerce transactions based on different categorizations. Here I am using one categorization. According to that categorization, there are three areas that we can discuss, right? As well, these can be think as the main kind of categorization. So in that case, there are three categories or three areas that we can discuss: electronic market, EDI, and the internet commerce. So you can see the three circles are interchanging. Maybe two circles are interchanging as well. There is a region that the three circles are intersectioning. So not changing, actually they are intersectioning. So that means is currently we can find different types of e-commerce websites or the e-commerce systems on the internet. So they are some of them are working as purely electronic market, right? Some of the web systems or the e-commerce systems working as purely or only as EDI, and the other way, some of them are working as only internet commerce systems. Meantime, there are some systems that is working as electronic markets as well, the EDI. The same way, EDI plus the internet commerce functionalities are having within some e-commerce systems. On the other way, electronic markets and the internet commerce facilities. As well, there are some other e-commerce systems that are functioning within these all three areas: electronic market, EDI, and the internet commerce. So that is what I want to discuss here. So I will discuss. I have to discuss descriptively about this electronic markets and EDI as well the internet commerce, right? So if I give a brief idea in here, so electronic market is a principal function of an electronic market is to facilitate the search for the required product or service. And yes, EDI provides for efficient transaction of recurrent trade exchange between the commercial organizations, and the internet commerce and the other similar network facilities can be used for advertising goods and the services and transacting one-off deals. So you can identify clearly what are the differences between these three areas, and I will discuss one by one of them, right? So if I go further about these three, actually these three areas make the scope of the electronic commerce or the e-commerce, right? So the electronic commerce is the term, as we know, popularized by the advent of the commercial services on the internet. And the internet e-commerce is, however, only one part of the overall sphere of the e-commerce. The commercial use of the internet here, and the commercial use of the internet is perhaps typified by once-off sale of consumers. So meaning of the once-off sale is that is once we are selling something, we will not see the product or the service there anymore. අපි එකපාරක් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් හරි සර්විස් එකක් හරි ගත්තට විකුණුවට පස්සේ අපිට ඒක ආයේ කවදාවත් දකින්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ, because it is bought by a customer and he is going away, right? That is the meaning, right? So the other types of transactions use the other technologies, and here the electronic markets are in use in the number of trade segments with an emphasis on the search facilities, and electronic data interchange is used for regular and standardized transaction between the organizations, right? Okay, so if I explain briefly about these three areas, which is making the scope of the boundaries of the electronic commerce, right? So the electronic markets, the first one is electronic market. So what happens under this area, an electronic market is the use of information and communication technologies to present a range of offerings available in the market segment, right? So that the purchaser or the buyer can compare the prices and the other attributes also of the offerings and they make the purchase decision, right? The usual example that we can take is kind of an electronic market is the airline booking system. So here main characteristic or the attribute of electronic market is it is giving the facility to search for the required product or service, right? So this is kind of an information system because it is giving the information to the customer, right? As the example I have taken here, it is airline booking system. Actually, it supports, I mean, don't get the much deeper into the airline booking systems because the existing booking systems in current industry or the current web, right? It is not only a exactly electronic market, it is a combination of electronic market as well as the other two types, especially the internet commerce. There may tune are there in inside here that the existing airline booking systems are maybe in this area or this area. So these are the fundamentals. That is why I am explaining what is electronic market separately and what is internet commerce separately, as well as the EDI also. But the thing is, in the present day, e-commerce websites are working in hybrid manner. So that here I am discussing airline booking systems that is just giving the search facility to search some flight informations only, right? So that is about the electronic market. And the second one type is the electronic data interchange, right? So the EDI abbreviatively provides a standardized system for coding trade transactions so that they can be communicated directly from one computer system to another without the need for printed orders and invoices and the delays and the errors implicit in paper handling, right? You know, where the old days, there were paper document, so it takes time to travel from one organization or the one place to another place. So sometimes there may be errors, so that in order to remove those errors or in order to prevent those errors, this electronic data interchange method technology has came into the scenario. So it is kind of an system for coding. Actually, this is a coding system that doing the trading transactions between the two parties of the 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 deal, right? Okay, so EDI is used by the organizations that make a large number of regular transactions, right? And one sector where EDI is extensively used is the larger supermarket chains, which use EDI for transactions with their suppliers. Actually, the thing is electronic data interchange is mostly used by the transactions which is happening between the vendor and the customer, the regular customer like us. අපි වගේ customers like කඩේ මුදලාල් කඩයක් අතර සිද්ධ වෙන transactions වලට නෙවෙයි electronic data interchange mostly use කරන්නේ. They are used between the two organizations like the suppliers as well as in between the suppliers and the vendors. Like for an example, if I take an example as, let's say, the company of Toyota, so they are making the cars. Actually, they have to buy the tires from a separate vendor, maybe let's say Dunlop. That is an example only, right? And there is the Toyota company needs to buy the seats from another company. Maybe the Toyota company might be need to buy the buy the aluminium parts or the iron parts, ionized parts from another company. So in that case, the vendors who sell the tires are again another organization, so that the two organizations have to exchange the order details, so that it is not like a receipt. Yeah, it includes much more things rather than other than a receipt, so that they are needed kind of coding system in order to do the trade transactions. So that is about the electronic data interchange. And the third type is the internet commerce. So the information and communication technologies can also be used to advertise and make one-off sales of a wide range of goods and services, right? So this type of e-commerce is typified by the commercial use of the internet. So that is why it is called as internet commerce, right? The internet can, for an example, be used for the purchase of books that are then delivered by the post, or the booking of ticket that can be picked up by the client when they arrive at the event, right? And it is remember, it is to be noted that the internet is not only the technology used for this type of service, and this is not the only use of the internet in the e-commerce, right? So this is the third part, internet commerce. So this part is the buying and selling part, the usual e-commerce part, right? So keep remember, the internet is the not only technology used for this type, maybe other electronic medias like the television, like the radio, so some other methods of the social networks are also, of course, social networks again using the internet. So apart from them, television, radio, or some other electronic medias also included under this category, that is internet commerce, right? I hope you have understood the three areas of the e-commerce, right? So are you okay with this explanation?
Yes, sir, we are good. It's clear.
Okay, great. So I can move further. Right. So now I want to discuss some further more about e-commerce and between the trade cycle. So the before to discuss about the how the trade cycle involves uh, uh, get involved with by the electronic commerce. So what are the steps of a trade cycle? අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම transaction එකක් සිද්ධ වෙනකොට මොනවද steps? What are the steps of a transaction happens? Any guesses? Of course, you are doing day to day lot of transactions, right? Especially I'm discussing about the buying and selling. No, actually not selling, buying something. What happens? What are the steps?
Payment.
Huh? Yes, payment is there. I mean, you can just tell, and please speak loudly. I cannot hear sometimes. One is payment. Yes, that's correct. And what else?
Ordering them.
Yes, ordering them. Okay.
Maybe
So you are
bargaining.
huh? Sorry.
Bargaining.
Yes, bargaining. Yes, correct. So you are coming, I think you are coming from the end, right? Not the beginning. Yet the payment is coming in at the end. So before that payment, you are doing the bargain, ordering. Ordering, and before the ordering, you are doing the bargaining. Then before what?
Searching for a product.
Yes, that is the first thing. Yes, that is the first thing. We are first searching for a product, right? Then we are doing what? Then we are doing some bargaining, and doing the next we are doing the ordering. After getting coming to a conclusion, then we are doing the payment, right? Of course, it is not only the payment. There, after getting the product, there is one thing remaining. What is that?
Uh, Delivery.
Oh, yes, delivery. Delivery is there. Think like you are having the product on your hand as the customer. What else?
Review.
Reviewing.
Reviewing, yes, reviewing also there.
Maybe after services.
Yes, that is the thing. After services, right? So the e-commerce or e-commerce can be involved in this everywhere. Maybe in the search, maybe in the negotiation or the bargaining part, making the order, delivering, right, making the invoice or the payment, as well the at the end the after sales. So these are the steps of the trade cycle, right? I have uh, separated three types of trade cycles we can find out in the general trade transactions. So most of the transactions include this all search, negotiation, ordering, delivering, invoicing, payment, and the after sale services, right? So what keep remember, this e-commerce can be applied to all or to the different phases of this trade cycle, right? So the trade cycle varies depending on the nature of the organization involved, or else the frequency of the trade between the partners to the exchange, and the nature of the goods or the service being exchanged. So these are the three things that the trade cycle are varying, right? Depends on. So the first one is the nature of the organization, right? Involved. So that means the partners are involved in the transaction, right? If it is just buying something from a shop, that is vendor to the customer, right? There, on the other hand, as I explained before, there are that any transaction can be happen between two organizations, like from the tire company to the Toyota car company, right? So that in that case, that way, the nature of the organizations based on the nature of the organization, the trade cycle varies, right? And the other one is the frequency of the trade between the partners to the exchange, right? The frequency, right? So sometimes we are going to the shop and selecting something and doing the negotiation, and we are paying for that one, get the invoice and coming back to the home. And thereafter, we are not going to discuss or the doing interactions between the vendor, right? අපි කඩේ ගිහලා මුදලාලිගෙන් මේක අරන් ඇවිල්ලා මොකක් හරි භාණ්ඩයක් ඒක ඒක ගැන ඊට පස්සේ ආයෙ කතා කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ, right? So that is one method of doing that is called a frequency, right? So that is one time, right? Sometimes some companies need to buy the same thing, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, maybe annually. So it is kind of a repetition, right? So on the other hand, sometimes we are buying some people the product or services for the credit, right? ණයට ගන්නවා credit cards වලට ගන්නවා ණයට ගන්න පුළුවන් ඊට පස්සේ part one by one payment එක කරනවා, right? So based on these frequencies of the trade between the partners and the exchange, the trade cycle are there are different types of trade cycles, right? And the nature of the goods or the services are also being a factor that is depends of the on the trade cycle, right? So however, the trade cycles has to support finding goods or services appropriate to the requirement and agreeing the terms of the trade, right? So here it is referred to as the search and the negotiation part, right? So the search and negotiation involves the finding goods or services appropriate to the requirement and arranging the terms of the trade, right? That is the bargaining part. And then the placing the order, taking the delivery, and making the payment. That means the execution and the settlement part, right? You can see. So we can categorize these whole trade cycle steps into four parts. That is pre-sales, execution, and the settlement. And the final one is the after-sale activities such as warranty or the after-sale services and etc. and many more, right? So keep remember there are numerous versions of trade cycles depending on the factors outlined here, and for many transactions further complicated by the complexities of the international trade, right? So that means the three generic trade cycles can be identified as I explained and as I showed in three colors, red, green, and blue. So the first or the red color part, red color type of cycle of trade is the regular type, right? Regular type means the repeat transactions between commercial trading partners, right? So they are repeating, right? The second type that means in the green color. So it is irregular transactions between commercial trading partners where the execution and settlement are separated, right? Execution and settlement are separated. You can see. So that is kind of a transaction we are doing on the credit, right? Based on the credit. And the third type is they are irregular transactions. By the way, especially they are one-off trading relationships where the execution and settlement are typically combined, right? අපි කඩේට ගියා භාණ්ඩයක් තේරුවා negotiate කරා, then we are execution and the settlement is done at once, right? අපි එතන ගිහිල්ලා order කරලා බලන් ඉන්නේ නැහැ deliver කරනකම් ගොඩක් කල් අපිම ගිහිල්ලා භාණ්ඩය මිලදී අරගෙන ආපහු ගෙදර එනවා. So that is kind of a one time process, right? So the trade cycle for these three categories I have shown in this figure also. The applicability of each of these three forms of e-commerce to this trade cycle I will discuss one by one in this next three slides, right? Okay. So if I discuss the electronic market, right? I have discussed three areas: electronic market, EDI, and the internet commerce. So that the first one is electronic market, right? So an electronic market, as I explained before, it is an inter-organizational information system that provides facilities for buyers and the sellers to exchange information. Keep remember, exchanging information is the main thing about the price and the product offerings, right? And the electronic market is primarily about the search phase of the trade cycle, right? The electronic market is the primarily concerned towards the search and negotiation part, but it is not limiting to that search and negotiation part. It is going through the order, deliver, invoice, and payment also, as you can see in the image, right? The electronic market is most effective in assisting the buyer in a commodity market where products are essentially identical across all sellers, right? And in a differentiated market, there is a variety of product offerings, and the search problem is more complex, right? An effective electronic market increases the efficiency of the market, and it reduces the search cost for the buyer, and and makes it more likely that the buyer will continue the search until the best buy is found, right? So usually this the electronic markets, and that means the present day, this is supported by one example is the multi-agent systems. I think you have heard these multi-agent systems in some other subjects as well, right? So I as I guess maybe in the artificial intelligence, maybe in the intelligent system subject as well. So you know multi-agents, what doing the multi-agents are what doing, right? So there are we are searching for some maybe for an example, we are searching for a package of traveling to a package. So that is a kind of multi-agent system including chatbots, so that there we have there we what we have to do is we just type or say what I want to do, so it will search for the flights, it will search for the hotels, it will search for the taxis and give the best match with our requirement, and send back to be viewed by us, right? So electronic market is kind of that. So it is giving the information only, right? So keep remember any of course the payment is involved there, but we are not much considering about this payment part. We are much concerned towards the providing the information to the customers, right? Keep remember that one as well, right? In addition to that part I discussed, electronic markets and electronic information services giving product and prices data exist in commodity exchange, financial markets, and they are also extensively used in the airline industry for passenger seat sales. This is another example. The use of electronic markets is illustrated by the airline booking systems. So you can go to the go to some surf the internet and find the airline booking systems, and you will experience this thing what I'm explaining here, right? So in this case, the primary use of the electronic market is to locate an available seat for a journey the customer wants to make, right? At a time that is convenient and a price that is acceptable, right? The electronic market then also allows the deals to be executed and payment to be made even. By their nature, these and other electronic markets conform to the one of irregular transaction trade cycles, right? You can see them it in the figure shown in the slide also. They may be used only for the pre-sale part of the trade cycle, or they may be include execution and the settlement function as well, right? And the electronic market also tend to be available only to the intermediaries. That is, it is the travel agent, right? As I explained before, not the customer, and that uses the airline booking system. So I hope you have understood very well about the electronic market. What is the relationship between the electronic market and the trade cycle, right? Okay, so next I will move to to identify the relation between the electronic data interchange and the trade cycle, right? So in EDI, if I go explain again, EDI is based on set of standardized messages for the transfer of the structured data between the computer applications, which is maybe installed in the two different organizations. It can have many applications. For an example, sending test result from the laboratory to the hospital, or maybe dispatching exam results from the exam branch to the or to the students. And but it is principally used for the trade exchange. So EDI can be used in anywhere. Mainly it is used in the used for the trade exchange, like the orders, invoices, payments, and the many other transactions that can be used in the national or the international trade exchange, right? So that is why it is mentioned in this figure in the circle, or starting from the order to the payment part only, right? So notable users of the EDI are vehicle assemblers ordering components for their production lines, and supermarkets and the multiple retailers also. On the other hand, ordering the goods need to restock their shelves, right? As I explained before, the EDI is happens between, mostly in between one business with and the another business, right? So I hope you have understood very well. EDI allows the stock control, materials management systems of the customer to interface with the stock control or the production systems of the suppliers without the use of the paper documents or the need for the human intervention, right? By the way, EDI is used for regular repeat transactions, as you can see in this image also, and it takes quite a lot of work to set up systems to send and retrieve EDI message, and in general, it is not applicable to one-off exchanges. In addition, EDI is a formal system, and it does not really have a place in the search and the negotiation phases, right? Although there have been attempts to formulate message for these purposes, but keep remember, EDI is just only attending between the execution and settlement process only, right? So I hope you have understood. I hope you have understood this execution EDI, the relation between the EDI and the trade cycle, right? So in addition, right, not in addition, actually, if I go further to the internet commerce and the trade cycle relationship, so the e-commerce can be, and it is used for the one-off transactions, as I've explained at the beginning of the trade cycle introduction, right? So this area of trade is typified by the consumer purchasing over the internet, but there are other networks as well, right? For an example, the television sales, television sales channels used in around the world. In Sri Lanka, I think you have seen the television marketing. They are doing television channel actually under the some other channels in Sri Lanka, but it is a television channel which is used to do the television sales, right? The telescene marketing, right? So sometimes you have seen in one channel that they are selling that balm or something that is relieving the pain in the knee, right? අර දණහි සමාරුවට විකුණන product එකක් මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. So they are doing the television sales. I forget that name. I have seen it maybe in Swarnavahini, the channel. They are selling that they are doing a long actually it is a session, right? Bringing some that is coming from India. Actually, I have seen that, and with the dubbed Sinhala version, there is one actor in famous actor in that the session, television session, and he is introducing, that is called I don't know the name, maybe it is kind of okay, I cannot remember that name. So he's introducing that product. So likewise, so the television sales can be done So that is kind of another example rather than the internet, right? By the way, this type of e-commerce is also used by the organization to make once-off or the infrequent purchases of items such as computer and some other office supplies as well. Right. So this form of e-commerce may give its customers credit facilities, but is typified by the cash, right? මෙතනදීත් the credit facility is there, but we are categorizing this part as the cash, right? Because most of the time what we are doing is using the cash, we are buying the products. By the way, even we are doing there are some other methods of doing the transactions like zero interest buying for the installment base. When you are buying something, we can do the transaction using payment using the credit cards. So so that the credit card companies give the time to us to repay or settle the payment using some installment methods, right? Install methods. So maybe monthly we can pay back, right? So so that is put under the credit, but still it is paying, right? So that this category is called under the cash, right? Okay. So it is shown in the trade this image also, right? By the way, the internet can be used for all of the part of the trade cycle. That is why it is mentioned like this. So the first stage of the trade cycle is search, and the facilities of the internet can be used to locate site offerings or advertising appropriate goods or services. A function, as already mentioned, that is similar to an electronic market. So in many instances, internet sites offer only the information, and any further steps down the trade cycle are conducted on the telephone or at a conventional shop outlet, right? And an increasing number of sites offer facility to execute and settle the transaction, or in normal parlance, to make the purchase. Delivery may be electronic or by home delivery service depending on the nature of the goods and services being offered, right? Somehow there also the internet is already involved, right? So the delivery can be done through the internet is for maybe type of logical data, right? For an example, if we are downloading something through the internet, for an example, like a song, maybe a video, then or else all the PDFs, right? So that in that case, the internet is used for the deliver, right? So on the other hand, if we are buying kind of physical product, so the delivery can be done. Of course, delivery is done through the physical way, right? Physical method. Okay. The use of the internet for online purchasing may or may not follow the search. Publishing a website addresses is an increasingly common feature on the conventional advertising. And the final use of the internet e-commerce is the after-sale services. So here I can have shown the search part is involved with the internet, and here the second circle is to show the internet used in the ordering, delivering, invoice payment, and the after-sale also can be done through the internet, right? Many IT providers now offer the online support and online services such as banking, are arguably a special case of the use of the after-sale transactions. Again, the use of the internet or for after-sales may or may not be followed to an earlier online transactions, right? So I hope you have understood this part, right? The relationship between internet commerce and the trade cycle, right? So are you clear with these three parts of the e-commerce relation with the trade cycle? right? So I hope you have understood. So are you clear with this one?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, great. So because sometimes I feel like I'm just speaking, so that please try to involve maybe with the opinions, right? So you are free to, don't hesitate, and you are free to give your opinions regarding what we are discussing, right? Okay. So that is about the e-commerce, the fundamental preliminary introduction about, or the elaborated introduction about the e-commerce, right? And on the other hand, there is another term I have mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, that is e-business, right? So e-business is actually the conducting of the business process over the internet or the electronic media, right? So it is not only including selling the product or services to a customer, right? It includes some other processes, like, of course, you can see here the elements of the e-business process. One is buying and selling product. Other than buying and selling product, supplies and services, servicing customers, managing production control, collaborating with business partners, and sometimes the recruitments can be done through the e-business internet, over the internet or the electronic medias. So all of these e-business process, right? The business processes can be done through the electronic medias or the electronic means, so that in that case it is called as e-business. So I have shown an image. So we have the suppliers or the raw materials with the suppliers. So there are producers, and there are distributors, and there are the delivery services, and the products came to the retailer and to the final store, and the customer came to the store and buying this product, right? So this entire process of the business can be done using the means of internet and the electronic media, so it is called as business, right? So keep remember, then the buying and selling product is a part of the e-business. E-business is a part with the right buying and selling. So that means the e-commerce, we know now the buying and selling product is the e-commerce through the electronic media means. So e-commerce is a section or a part of the e-business, right? Keep remember this thing. By the way, so we can divide these all activities into two sections, considering with whom these activities are involved, right? කාත් එක්කද මේ business activities involve වෙන්නේ කියන එක මත මේක අපිට ප්‍රධාන categories දෙකකට කඩන්න පුළුවන්, right? Usually you can identify them. Usually we can identify two sections. Actually, the buying part can be done by the customers, and the retailers are there to sell them, right? And the supplies and the services done between the supplier and the organization, right? Servicing customers is again, we can put into the customer side, right? So that in this way we can actually divide these whole activities into two parts. They are named as buy side, and the other one is sell side, right? So these two parts are buy sides, buy side. කියන්නේ මිලට ගැනීමේ අංශය. අනික the second one is sell side, that is විකුණුම් අංශය, right? So these are the two parts we can identify in the e-business. Okay, I have shown it in this image, right? So the entire e-business is consists with this buy side e-commerce and the sell side e-commerce, right? So you can identify the suppliers there, right? So there are different size of different levels of suppliers, and there are intermediaries, and this orange color part is the organizational process and the functional unit. මෙතන තමයි අපි කතා කරන ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හදන්නේ මේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හදන්න ඕන inside this here the product is developed and they are buying the raw materials from the suppliers maybe and in this green color side is a sell side, right? So after product finalizing the product, they are sent to the retailers, they are sent to the through the intermediaries, and then they are sent to the usual stores and to the customers, right? So I think you can realize what I'm explaining here. Even in the same image I have shown in the previous slide also, I have divided into these two parts. So the yellow, the blue color border shows the buy side e-commerce, and the sell side e-commerce is boundarized with the green color. So I hope you have understood the two sides of the e-business, the sell side e-business and the buy side e-business. Okay, so mainly I want to discuss here in this today's lesson about the sell side, because this is the e-commerce what we are knowing, right? Api danna e-commerce kiyala kiyane meka, right? Apart from the buy side sales, actually yes, this is understandable. These two terms, buy side and this sell side. Buy side, to determine whether it is a buy side or the sell side, we have to stand on the perspective of the organization. අපි organization එක ඇතුලේ ඉඳලා තමයි අපි perspective එක නැත්නම් බලන්නේ ඒක buy side එකේද නැත්නම් sell side එකේද කියලා. So here once after standing within inside the organization, they are buying the raw materials into the organization, right? ඇතුළට දේවල් මිලට ගන්න නිසා තමයි මේකට කියන්නේ buy side කියලා, right? නැතුව customer, we are not looking as a third party or the customer. Customer ට අනුව මේ organization එක මේවා even as the customer we can identify they are buying, right? They are buying the things into the organization and making some products and they are selling, right? So that is called sell side. Right. Okay. So I think you have understood, and I am here discussing more about the sell side and the buy side, or this raw material from the supplier to the final to the organization. This part will be discussed in some other lessons, like the supply chain management and within the supply chain management part, and the other thing is a business to business, or the business type, right? Okay. So here I am discussing sell side e-commerce, right? Okay. So sell side e-commerce, actually there are 4 ways could be identified which a website is used to market some products, right? Sell side means now we have the products or the services offering from organization. So there are 4 ways we can identify that we can market the products or the services through the website, right? So those 4 are the transactional e-commerce sites. The second type is a service-oriented relationship building website, and the third one is brand building, and the fourth one is the portal, publisher, or the media sites. So you can identify specified characteristics among these 4 types, 4 categories of the sell side e-commerce. So I will discuss briefly about each of them. Okay. So the first type is transactional e-commerce sites, right? So these are the main most of the websites we are currently involving, right? අපි මේ වෙනකොට involve වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ website එක. So those type of websites are to purchase the product or the services through the online, right? Online internet එක හරහා අපිට දේවල් purchase කරන process එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම කරනවා නම් ඒ වගේ sites වලට කියනවා transactional e-commerce sites, because we are doing the transactions through the internet, right? If you are doing transactions, then it is called as transactional e-commerce sites. And the main business contribution of the site is doing the sales, right? Doing the sales of the product or services through the internet or the some other electronic media. So that is the main attribute or the main functionality of the main functionality of the transactional e-commerce sites, right? This type of e-commerce sites, transactional e-commerce sites includes the retail sites, the maybe the travel sites and online banking services also, right? So I hope you have understood briefly what is transactional e-commerce sites, right? So are you clear with this one? Okay,
Yes.
so tell me some then some examples you can find from the internet for the transactional e-commerce sites in Sri Lanka. Tell me some examples of websites, sample websites.
Kapruka.
Yes, Kapruka is yes there. Okay.
eBay.
Yes, okay. eBay,
Takas,
Daras, okay.
Ikman.lk,
Huh?
Ikman.lk.
Yes, ikman.lk. Okay, so all of your answers, because one first is the all of the websites you have given as the sample are the online marketplace. Of course, they are one type of e-commerce sites. They are doing the purchases, right? But keep remember, ikman.lk cannot be considered as purchase of the product online. Why? Why is that?
There is no transaction.
Yes, that is
Eventually.
no transaction. They are giving the information, and by seeing the information, we are doing our deals apart from going beyond the internet, right? We are getting the mobile phone numbers and we are discussing the deal directly. Neither. So that Ikman.lk is not there. Maybe Daras, maybe Kapruka also there. I have never bought the things from Kapruka, right? So can we pay online there?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay, even it is not paying online. Somehow we are doing the ordering part, right? We are doing the ordering, then cash on delivery is available there. So even though it is called as it can be categorized into this section, that is transactional e-commerce sites, right? So I hope you have understood very clearly what is transactional e-commerce sites, right? Not only these type of the methodology, even in the Daras, even in Kapruka, even in maybe eBay. So they are giving the platform actually to sell the products or services, and the sellers are coming from different areas. Ne? So it is a platform, kind of a platform, right? Not only these kind of platforms. For an example, if we are doing, let's say, booking some hotel reservation can be done through the internet, and we can do the payments also. We can buy some packages. So they are, for an example, yesterday I bought a hotel package from Cinnamon Grand, so that for my sister, for a trip, so that in that case I paid, I just did the order, and I did the payment also through the internet, and that is also purchasing of product. Actually it is not a product, it is a service there, right? So there are products and services as well we can buy doing the transaction through the online, right? I hope you have understood very well about the transactional e-commerce sites. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next one is the services oriented relationship building website, right? So here what the Providing is, these are not providing the purchase process, right? It is not providing the purchase process, but it provides the information to stimulate the purchase and build the relationship, right? So if we cannot do any transaction like the Ikman.lk, right? So can you think Ikman.lk can put under this category? Right? Can you think this Ikman.lk, because it is providing information to stimulate the purchase, right? Ikman.lk is stimulating the purchase, and of course it is giving the platform to build the relationship, right? Not only giving the mobile number, but also, for an example, if we the other websites like let's say the dialogue website, right? Website of the dialogue dialogue that the GSM provider or the Mobitel, right? They are giving the customer service platform through the internet, right? Using maybe the chatbots, right? Multi-agent systems. So they are supporting here to give the suggestions or to help the in order to solve the problems of the customers, right? So they are kind of building relationships between the sellers and the buyers or the customers. So they can be categorized under this category, that is service oriented and the relationship building websites. So this is kind of a service given to the customers, right? So actually products are not typically available for purchase online. Keep remember, there are no products typically, right? Typically not available for the purchase by the students, the customers, right? So I hope you have understood about the service oriented relationship building websites. So what other examples you can find in Sri Lanka? So what are the other examples you can remember?
The freelancing websites.
Freelancing, okay. Could you please further explain?
There are some freelancing websites, Upwork and more. We can hire some people for a services or graphic designing and all.
Okay, so then it is providing some information to do some purchasing, like giving the orders to develop some applications, right? And later it is a kind of a platform to build the relationship between the seller and the buyer, right? So yes,
Yes.
it is, yes. So it is can be put under the service oriented, this category. So what else? The others can raise activate their voice now.
TripAdvisor.com.
Sorry, what?
TripAdvisor.com.
Yes, TripAdvisor, right? Yes, actually, in there we can buy neither. In there we can purchase the TripAd. You means the TripAdvisor?
As a hotels
Yes.
details බලන්න පුළුවන්.
So it is not.
book කරන්න
Yes,
පුළුවන්.
I know. Yes, that is that logo is kind to the spectacles, right? There.
ඔව්
අර
සර්.
කන්නාඩි දෙකක් දාපු
ඔව්
කෙනෙක්
ඔව්.
නේ කොළ පාට
ඔව්
මම මතක
ඔව්
හිටියේ,
සර්.
right? Okay, so there I have never gone through that one. So can we buy purchase the hotel packages, or we can just see the information?
Booking option උත් තියෙනවා සර්.
So if there is a booking option, we cannot put it under this one. It is just going to the transactional e-commerce, right? What else? So what about the others? You can speak now.
So can the Facebook business pages falls under this category?
Sorry, what? I didn't get.
The Facebook business pages.
Yes, Facebook business pages can be put under this category, but the fourth category there was, I think you can see, you can remember that this portal publisher media sites, right? So this includes the Facebook, I mean the social networks, right? Of course, the Facebook pages, business pages can be put here also, because it is giving the information and stimulating the purchases as well. There is the facility of chatting with the doing people who are doing this particular business. So we can consider this Facebook business pages as that particular part only, right? The Facebook business pages under the service-oriented relationship building websites. Okay. So I hope now you can, okay, maybe current, I mean, with the time you cannot remember at once, right? Okay. So because I have included one question in the tutorial there. You can find some examples for these 4 categories and write them in local as well as the international also. Okay, so I can move to the next third category, that is the brand building sites, right? So brand building sites also kind of information sites. They are not for the purchasing purposes, but so it is providing the experience to the support to the brand, particular brand, and its main focus is to support the brand by the developing an online experience of the brand, right? Usually this type of brand building sites uh, uh, markets the low value, high volume, fast moving consumer goods. So these type of goods are called as FMCG brands, right? Low value and high volume, fast moving consumer goods. For an example, meat, dairy products, medicine, cosmetics, beverages, and bakery products. So these are called as low value. These products have low value and high bought by the high volume of customers, right? And they are fast moving. These goods are non-durable. Keep remember, these goods are non-durable and are purchased frequently by the customers and consumed rapidly, right? Progressively they are consumed and are priced low and are sold in large quantities, right? Uh, Also, they have the high turnover when they are on the shelf at the store, right? So these type of products are sold through the internet. So this type of websites called as brand building. This brand building and the previous one, this one, the service oriented relationship building brand websites have the same intention, but for the different products, right? So usually this type of low value, high volume, fast moving consumer goods are sold through this type of websites. They cannot in these websites also there are not provided the online purchasing the functionality. So what kind of examples you can remember for this one?
Any company websites generally.
Yes, any company website generally. Yes, in the general usage. Like for an example, if I'm logging to the, let's say what? Okay. So the Kotmale product, I think you have gone used the dairy products from Kotmale. So they have their website. They are not selling any product through their website, but they are giving the information, right? So that what happens through this website is we can just get the information as the customers, and we are recognizing their features of the products, and because of that one we are more tending to buy that particular product. So the brand name of that particular organization is getting shined, right? Raised up. So that we call this type of website called as brand building. මෙතනදී organization එකේ නම වැඩි දියුණු වෙන්න නැත්නම් ඒකේ ප්‍රභාව දීප්තිය වැඩි වෙන්න උදව් වෙන websites, right? මෙතනදී ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අර meat, dairy products, medicines වගේ විකුණන වෙබ්සයිට්ස් වල තමයි විකුණන කියන්නේ information දෙන වෙබ්සයිට් තමයි brand building site කියලා කියන්නේ. What else? Right? So if I another example is okay, so if I go for the website of the Abans, right? So if I go for the log into the Abans website, so they have their product information, but we cannot buy neither. I haven't gone through that, but as I remember, we cannot make the orders, but we can just see the product information about the product. So that it is put under this brand building site, right? So I hope you have understood. You can find some other examples later, right? And the last one is the portal, publisher, or the media sites. They also provide information and the news or the entertainment about not only specified to one kind of product, but also giving a range of topics, right? You know how I think you have heard about the term the portal. Portal refers to a gateway of information. So so this portal have a diversity options for generating revenue, including advertising, commission-based sales, sales of customer data. So these are the method why these portals, publishers, or the media sites considered as e-commerce, right? Sometimes you may think this maybe the portals or the publishers or the media sites, you can think them as them not as the e-commerce sites. ඉස්සර නම් දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම if we go to the Dinamina's website, right? If you go to the website of the Dinamina newspaper, right? So now it is have become an e-commerce site. Previously it is just an information site, but now through the Dinamina website, so they are generating revenue. And how they are generating revenue is they are doing the advertising, right? And they are doing some commission-based sales, right? Using that advertisements. You can see there are different types of advertisements popping up when you are looking at that particular website. So through that method, the publish or the particular organization earns the money, right? Through that website they are earning money, so that it is put under this considered as an e-commerce website, right? By the way, as I explained before, the social networks can be considered in this category. Since they are doing offering some advertisement platforms, so that as Latis Paran explained, give the example of the Facebook business sites. They are doing through that they are advertising their products or services. So that can be put under this here also, right? So what else you know about this portal, publisher, or the media sites as examples? Can you think of any example?
YouTube.
YouTube, yes, of course. YouTube now it is becoming it is a media site, and now it is earning money, ne? So even people who are connecting with the channels, they can earn money. So it is kind of now e-commerce site, right? So that is an example, international one. Okay, so you can what is one question in the tutorial is to find the examples as in the local as well as the international market. Some examples you can write, right? Okay, I hope you have understood the sell side e-commerce 4 categories, right? Are you all clear with the sell side e-commerce? Are you okay?
Yes, sir. We are good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I will discuss this buy-side e-commerce in the latest lessons, right? Especially the supply chain management, right? Okay, so the next term I want to discuss is the digital economy, right? So an economy is an area of production, distribution, or trade and consumption of goods and services by the different agents, right? So digital economy refers that an economy that is based on the digital computing technologies, right? So the e-commerce included inside the e-business. So there here we can realize the e-business is included within the digital economy, right? So there are according to these different economic scientists, there are three main components of a digital economy concept that can be identified. Actually, these three parts are e-business infrastructure. E-business infrastructure, that means the hardware, software, telecom networks, the human capital, and many more things related as the infrastructure. And the second type is e-business, right? The other one is e-business. That means how the business is conducted and the all processes that the organization conducts over the computer mediated networks. So that is called e-business, as I explained before also. And the third part is the e-commerce, the smallest part, that is the transfer of goods, right, from the seller to the buyer, right? For an example, when a book is sold online and it is delivered through the post, so it is e-commerce, right? So sometimes it is called as internet economy or web economy also, right? So here it is a small term that I want to discuss about the digital economy. Okay, so now we have identified three things, that is e-commerce, e-business, and the digital economy. There are three terms, right? So according to the explanation, my explanation, what is the relationship of between the e-commerce and the e-business? First, I will take two terms, e-commerce and the e-business. And can anyone say this e-commerce and the e-business are same? Or let's say it is two separate things? Or in which way we can explain the relation between the e-commerce and the e-business? Any guesses?
E-business is a subcategory of e-commerce.
Sorry, what?
E-business is a subcategory of e-commerce.
E-business is a subcategory of e-commerce. That means the biggest part is e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the small part is e-business. Okay, what else? What are the other different explanations? Do you have any other type of explanation?
I think e-commerce is a subpart of e-business. The major one is e-business.
That means the opposite of what Latis explained.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, Latis. So why you say so?
I don't know, sir.
Then why you say?
Just came.
No, I mean after I have explained these three terms, ne? What is e-commerce and how it behaves? What is e-business? How it behaves? Ne?
So since E-commerce is mainly based on purchasing and selling.
Uh-huh.
So business may be broader than that.
Then why you say that the e-commerce e-business is inside the e-commerce?
Sorry, I got confused.
Okay, so somehow different people can explain different ways, right? Use different ways to explain the concept, right? So that is why I have shown these three major ways, right? So some people can say there are some alternative viewpoints, right? So some people say the electronic commerce has some degree of overlap with the electronic business, right? Maybe it is totally separated. And some people can say the electronic commerce is broadly equivalent to the electronic business. And as the Udani said, that is Udani, right? Or Sachini? I don't know. Oh, I forgot. Okay, whatever, whoever. Electronic commerce is a subset of electronic business. Or Lati said electronic commerce is the broader one and the e-business is the smallest one, right? So what you can came into the conclusion, right, as much according to my explanation, right? Though according to the explanation, it seems to be more realistic. And indeed, many commentators seems to consider e-business and e-commerce to be synonymous. So it would be more realistic since e-commerce does not refer to many of the transaction within the business, right? E-commerce does not refer to the many of the transaction in the business, right? Such as processing, purchasing orders, that are the part of the e-business, not the e-commerce. E-commerce is part of, if you can remember the image I have shown, there was the supplier in the left side and the customer in the right side, rightmost side. නේද? එතකොට අතරමැදදී සම්පූර්ණ process එකක් තිබුණා. Product is coming in after the mid. මැදින් පස්සේ තමයි මැදට පස්සේ center එකෙන් පස්සේ තමයි product එක එන්නේ. Until we are getting the developing the product that is coming under the business but not the e-commerce. So that in that case the number C in this slide is the most realistic explanation of the relationship between the e-commerce and the e-business, right? Actually, when we explain further about the e-business is kind of a e-commerce plus some other things. For an example, customer relationship management, CRM, and supply chain management. Supply chain management is the what I explained before, starting from the raw materials to the product at the product at the on the hand of the customer. Product එකක raw material ඉදලා customer ගේ අවසානයේ අත උඩ තියෙන product එක දක්වා සම්පූර්ණ whole process එකම supply එක නැත්තම් product එකක් raw material එකක් කොහොමද supplier ගේ ඉඳලා factory එකට එන්නේ, factory එකේ කොහොමද ඇතුලේ production එක යන්නේ, production එක එළියට එන්නේ, තොග වෙළඳ ගාවට යන්නේ කොහොමද, තොග වෙළඳගෙන් සිල්ලර වෙළඳ ගාවට යන්නේ කොහොමද, from the retailer how it going to the customer. That is whole process explained under the supply chain management, SCM. Apart from the knowledge management, business intelligence, and there are a number of things included in the business. So e-commerce plus, that's the other part resulting the e-business, right? I hope you have understood very well. Now tell me, where is the digital economy now? Then where is the digital economy now in this scenario? Any guesses? Where is the digital economy? එන කියන බලන්න digital economy තියෙන්නේ කොතනද මේ කියන scenario එක ඇතුලේ?
All of them?
All of them. That means
The combination of e-business, e-commerce, and I mean, basically, e-business itself is very.
yes, yes, you are telling what is you are correct. That means like this, right? Digital economy is there. Inside the digital economy, e-business are there. Because apart from the e-business, there are a number of other things included in the digital economy, right? Because we are considering the business process inside within the e-business. Apart from the e-businesses, there are some other economy. You know, economy is a kind of a major part of in a country, right? So that the economy can be done, economical activities can be done through the digital. Digital may mean so that there are some of them are not either e-business, right? So that the digital economy is the largest part, right? So I hope you can understand what the relation between these three: e-commerce, e-business, and the digital economy, right? Are you okay with this up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So there are some small things remaining there. So the other next one is I want to discuss some attributes of the e-commerce and the e-business. Attributes, right? E-commerce or the e-business. Now, on the other way, sometimes some people refers this e-commerce and the e-business terms interchangeably. සමහරවිට පැත්ත මාරු කරලා සමහරු මේ වචන දෙක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. එකම දෙයට e-business e-commerce කියන දේත් පාවිච්චි කරනවා. But keep remember the difference between the e-commerce and the e-business, right? So here I have listed out some attributes of e-commerce, or we can say the e-businesses. The main thing is the digitization of the business, right? And it is focusing on the business processes. Usually it uses the global network around the world to do the business process or else the commerce process, right? Because of this globalization, the new potentials and the opportunities are arisen towards the businesses, right? Okay, so these are some attributes listed down. So I'm not going to read one, discuss, because you can understand very easily what are there, right? So the next one is the features of the e-commerce, right? Features. E-commerce වල තියෙන features මොනවද? I'm not going to discuss about this. The next topic is features. The e-commerce වල තියෙන features මොනවද? What are the facilities given by the e-commerce to us as the customers? What are the facilities? What are the facilities?
Online payment and transaction.
Sorry, what are the?
Online payment facility.
Yes, online payment facility is one. Yes, that is one major thing. Not only the online payment, I mean, not all the e-commerce websites give you the online payment facility, but it is one feature. Yes, you are correct. What else?
Comparison of prices between the products or services.
Yes, comparison of the prices between the products, correct.
Can get the service anytime we want.
Sorry, what?
Can get the services at any time we want.
Yes, yes, we can get the services or the product at any time, even at the any place, right? I mean, not only all the products or services, sometimes some services are not available for some particular areas, but we can say at any time, right? And also this facility is called as 24/7, right? පැය 24ම දවස් 7ම තියෙනවට අපි කියනවා 24/7 service කියලා. Okay, so what else? So what are the other features we can facilitate? We are facilitated by the e-commerce. No, any guesses? Other answers? Only these three? Lahiro, you can say you are not activating your voice. I couldn't hear your voice anymore up to this point. So why the other people are not raising their voice?
Product details and the images. And
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
means the actual product of the image of the product, and we can see the details of the specifications and all.
Okay, that can be acceptable answer. So the others are I couldn't hear the all other. Yes, Sachin, yes.
Advertising and
Sorry, what?
that advertisements.
Could you please further explain this one?
That means through the e-commerce websites, the marketers can advertise their products more easily to reach the customer.
Yes, okay, acceptable. So I couldn't hear the voices from the other CS students. Only these IT people, IT students are speaking here. So are they available now? Okay. Yes. What else? Who else?
So how about the easy documentation?
Easy documentation of what?
Like for the invoices, payments, and
Yes,
reports.
that is correct. That is correct. Because easy documentation, like actually it is not the transaction process neither. So it is considered under the transaction process. Of course, the easy documentation is there. So here I have listed out some the features, right? One is their 24/7 service availability and the advertising marketing, right? And apart from them, what have you have told? One is the one major feature is the non-cash payment, right? So yes, one is the one major thing is apart from the cash, we can use some non-cash payments like credit cards, smart cards, and electronic fund transfer (EFT) via bank's website, and some modes of electronic payments like even the e-cash, e-money also available there to do the non-cash payments rather than doing the cash payments. Even the cash on delivery also available there, right? So that is one feature. And as explained by the Latis, as I remember, he told this one, anytime availability, right? Availability at any time. So it is called as 24/7 now service. And the others is advertising marketing. So e-commerce increases the reach of the advertising of products and services of businesses. And the other is improved sales. That means it improved the sales because uh, uh, mm, it boosts up the existing sales volume because due to this the spread the expanding of the e-commerce current for an example, if there is a shop in here and it has the customers on based on that area only, right? Later they are making a website so they can expand their sales throughout the maybe that province or the country, so that their sales volume can be increases. And also e-commerce through the e-commerce websites, these organizations can give the support customer services, right? Maybe the pre-sales or the post sale assistance to provide the better services to the customers. Apart from these features, inventory management can be done through these electronic media. So it is also put under this category or the fee as an e-commerce. So it is one feature. And the communication improvements, that means faster, efficient, reliable communication with the customer and the partners can be done through the e-commerce websites or the e-commerce system. So it is one, it is being a feature of e-commerce, right? So I hope you have understood. Apart from these things, the things you have raised up in the here are correct, right? I hope you have understood very well about the features, right? Are you clear with this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So the next part is to discuss the role of the internet, intranet, and the extranet. So that means basically role of the network for the e-commerce. Actually, you can read these things I have explained here. I have put in the content, but the thing is, keep remember, internet. I mean the internet. Considering the network, there are three major parts of the network. That is, big one is the internet. The smallest one is the intranet, and the other intermediate size, medium size is the extranet, right? So in different stages of the business process, these intranet, extranet are used to do the e-commerce transactions, right? Actually, e-business, right? Here I'm using sometimes e-commerce term and sometimes I'm using e-business interchangeably. But the things I'm discussing is applicable or the valid through the e-commerce and the e-business. So the internet, intranet, extranet are used in different stages of business. So they are can be seen in this way. For the marketing purposes, we are using the internet because marketing done to the customers, right? අපිට දෙයක් විකුණ ගන්න ඕන නම් ඒකට marketing කරන්න ඕනේ internet එක through. Extranet, you know what is the meaning of internet, extranet and intranet. Within an organization, within the company, we use intranet, and it is sometimes we working with the suppliers, sometimes the customers, collaborators. So we are using internet, and the other whole world to connect to the organization or the company, we use the internet, right? Now you can identify the limitation or the boundaries of the three different networks. So to do the marketing is done to the whole world, so that we need the intranet. And to do the marketing as well as to purchase some raw materials from the suppliers, we need in extranet. And to communicate through the departments of the organization or the company, or to handle out the HR requirement, human resource management part with the suppliers, with the financial section of the same company, we need an extranet, right? So I hope you can understand, you can easily what is the role of the internet, extranet and internet within this entire business process, right? So you can just go through this this content. Actually, when we discussing this internet, intranet and internet, basically internet is I'm going to discuss here, because the enhancement of the internet, starting from the beginning from the internet by the Tim Berners, actually Tim Berners-Lee introduced the World Wide Web actually. So from the ARPANET, right? It is the beginning of the internet from the originated from the US, right? ARPANET, right? Okay. We can identify three stages or the three waves of the internet that critically affect to the spreadness of the e-commerce or the transactions. Actually, there are mainly we have identified the three waves in the internet have gone through the computing field. One first wave and the second wave and the third wave. I will give. I have given an description about the first, second, and third waves. So here, considering the first and second wave, actually, this first and second wave, it is mainly expanded through only the United States, but it is not limited to there. And actually, in the first wave and the second wave, it is becoming. It became the international, right? The development of the ARPANET by the United States military, so and the scientists. So it is the first wave of the internet is limited to the US, but later it is famous through the globe, so it was getting international. And considering the startup capital, the money we need to get the internet in the first wave, it is easy to obtain. And in the second wave, the companies use their internal funds to start the internet. I mean, do these e-commerce websites, right? Okay. So likewise, in the technological wise, in the first wave of the internet, the network, it was very slow and very inexpensive when considering the business to customer transactions. Right now, we have the broadband connection, so and some other like the wireless methods to get into the connected to the internet as well. Right. And so you can just read the different features through the first and second wave. And there is another, the third wave, which is already, and keep remember, now we are in the third wave of the internet. Especially the highlighted point in the third wave is the mobile commerce or the m-commerce, right? Because the e-commerce we done so far through the PCs or the laptops and those type of machines, right? Personal computers. But now the enhancement of the mobile phone into a smart device, so everything can be done through the mobile phone, smartphone, so that everything have become converted to the mobile commerce. So here we are installing different applications, mobile apps in the mobile phone to do the various transactions. For an example, I have installed in my mobile phone some banking applications, maybe BOC, People's Bank, some the online payment some booking applications like booking.com, maybe Daras application, maybe the Ikman.lk application, so that there are a number of mobility has become mobility features have become prominent or the critical today's world, right? So the internet technology, considering the internet technology integration, in the first wave, they use barcode scanners, and then in the second wave, they used the radio frequency identifications, some smart cards and biometric technologies in order to do these transactions. Now it is have integrated these all things into one in the third wave, right? So with the discussion of this the internet, the web 1 is the considered can be considered as the first wave. Now then it is changed to the web 2.0. Now we are in the era of web 3.0, right? So if you can just read through this the slides. So what highlighted here is the second generation of the internet based service that let the people collaborate, share information online in new ways. For an example, in 2000s to after 90s to 2000 years, so the social networks have developed, and blogs, the torrents, and number of internet-based services are developed. So through these services, the commerce, internet commerce or the e-commerce have become more prominent in today's world. Right. So I'm not going to recite this content written here, this the slide, so that you can just go through this content, right? So these are some characteristics in the web 2.0. So you can just read. So it is wasting time wasting if I'm reading again and again. So some newest enhancement done to the web 2 is that creates generated the web 3.0. Uh, some new enhancements of the internet is like the for an example, if I take the live streaming, online streaming, right? In Sri Lanka, you can see now the POTV giving the one new concept to the Sri Lanka, but it is a bit old, not very recent, actually not very recent into the globe, but to Sri Lanka it is new. That is the online video on demand, right? Video on demand means we can request at the time we need, right? This is doing by the Netflix, right? You know that we can subscribe into the Netflix by paying some money, and we can request and we can see any desired video or maybe TV series, film or whatever video matter at what at the time when we need it. So it is called as video on demand. So that is one newest enhancement of the web technology. The other one is the IPTV. We can IPTV means Internet Protocol Television. That means again the Netflix and those things are the applications of the IPTV, and the YouTube and the YouTube giving the online streaming, video streaming. You know, the in the social media, in Facebook we can do the what is called that live, Facebook live. So that is the application of online streaming. So these are some new technologies. So you can find out some other new technologies which is used in the internet, through the internet, in the internet also, which is used to do the e-commerce transactions, right? So I hope so here you can see the you can see the evaluation of the web technologies, and the different technology sub technologies have evolved through the timeline. So as I explained before, there was the desktop machines. Then it has become mobile. The mobility has increased through the time with the increment of the web, the internet also. So this is all about the evaluation of the web internet. So you can read more and more things about this topic, even from the different resources on the internet. Okay, so if I discuss for more information, the things about facts about the related terminologies, like we know e-commerce, e-business, the digital economy. Apart from these three terms, there are some other terminologies like m-commerce, and there are the e-procurement, e-government, and e-cash, e-money. There are a lot of e-things, right? There are a number of terms we are discussing with the abbreviation of E or the electronic dabu godak concepts, you know. So all are they categorized under the electronic things, so E things. So m-commerce is one of them. Actually, the e-commerce has changed into the m-commerce because the wireless or the mobility has embedded to the e-commerce. So now it is became m-commerce. So you can just go through these slides and read the features of the m-commerce. One is the location independency of the mobile customers, and increasing the computing power of mobile devices, and the interactivity has become more prominent. Interactivity. Those days, the PC era, the interactivity is very low. And now it is we can feel out the, you know, the virtual reality, augmented reality has become more prominent these days. We can try out you know, we can try out the the e-commerce functionalities with AR and the VR, so that these are the features of the e-commerce, right? So you can read this slide. And the other another related terminology is e-procurement. So e-procurement is the one major component of supply chain. So procurement is providing the raw materials to the production process. So it can the ordering process of the raw materials for the production can be done through e-commerce website. So it is called as e-procurement. Mostly it is coming under the business to business transaction. So that is mentioned as B2B. Okay, so you can just read this one also. And the other one is e-government. Most of the government activities, not like the government services to the citizens, right? Like getting the copy of your birth certificate, getting your marriage certificate, copy of a marriage certificate, renewing your revenue license of your vehicle, so that these type of things, applying for the identity card, so these type of things can be done, are considered under the e-government. Inside there are e-citizen, e-service, e-society, e-administration, and there are a number of e-terms are considered discussed under the e-government. Okay, so I hope you can understand what is the e-things. One question is given there in the tutorial. Find out some other e-terms rather other than this I have discussed here, and write some short notes about this e-government, sorry, e-things, because you will be asked sometime you will about these terminologies, right? So find out some other e-terms, right? This is one question in the tutorial as well. Okay, the last topic for the today is the difference between the traditional commerce and the e-commerce, right? So actually we are doing the e-commerce through the electronic media, and the traditional commerce done face to face, right? Done face to face, or we can say person to person exchanges happen done, right? And so likewise there are some differences explained here also. So apart from the written things, what are the other the differences or the of course you have to tell the what are the similarities also. What are the similarities of the two commerce, traditional and the e-commerce? Actually, the main and the first similarity is both using e-commerce as well as the traditional commerce. Doing is selling, buying and selling product or services, right? Okay, so you can find out some other traditional similarities as well as the some other differences between the traditional commerce and the e-commerce, right? So you can just read out this. And that is all for this lesson. Yes.